Men have a saying, open your stomach, take an alien creature that looks like an octopus, take it out of your body. The creature gradually steps out of its corner, climbing towards an old man. Then the man took the scalpel, cut open the old man's stomach. The creature then went from that blood to the next body. Today I bring you, it's the third episode of the Real House series. When humans face strong alien forces, what kind of courage do you need to resist? This episode is called the first episode of The Wind God. Don't miss it. The story begins. A group of miners wear a suit. They are preparing to go to the underground mine to do their homework. At this time, a man fell from the sky and fell on the elevator. He showed a happy smile. Ignoring the colleagues' scolding and stopping, quickly jumped off the ground and put a ball-shaped object in front of him. As the ball was spinning, the surrounding magnetic field changed. Two men were hit by a giant explosion. Not long ago, a mine explosion occurred in Belize. The miner on site was not alive. To find out the cause of the explosion, the old black of the town found his longtime friend, Fakar, to help the victim's body do further analysis, give the victim's family a truth. It turns out that the black mine company has a clear rule. Employees only have the chance to apply for compensation for their death due to a mine accident, and recently this explosion, according to the investigation at the scene, there is solid evidence that it was caused by a certain bomb. This means that the victim's family will not be compensated, so the police chief called his old friend Carl, let him help provide the second autopsy report. See if you can do the last thing for the dead. I heard Carl ask about the origin of the matter, a very strange case. It's only slowly opening up. 2 months ago, from a mine called Hanley, in a short month on the town, 6 people were missing. The police rushed to the town. With the residents of the town, the carpet was searched. As a result, on the branch of a tree in the forest, found a sack full of suspicious items. It's spreading the stench. When the police opened the bag, it was indeed the missing body, but many parts of the body were cut by sharp knives. The strangest thing is that the victim had no blood on his body. It's like food that's been processed, and there are more than one such body. There are 2 missing people already. The victim was found dead. The police chief, Carl, speculated. The murderer put the body on the tree. The majority will return to the site to check his work, so he asked the 2 hunters to guard the scene. But who knows? When Carl returns, the hunters have all disappeared. The most valuable machine fell to the ground. The corpse in the sack is also flying. The next day, Carl got the identity information of the body. His name is Dwoldy. He is a miner in town. According to records, the last time Dwoldy was missing, it was at a tavern. There he met his friend who disappeared for a long time, Sykes. They have worked together for so many years. Dwoldy recognized Sykes at first sight, but the other party claimed to be Alan. He also said Dwoldy recognized the wrong person. After that, Alan tried to communicate with the other party. He used a magic mouth, ordered Dwoldy to throw away the wine cup in his hand. Pretend to drink wine and go home with him. I only saw Dwoldy as confused as according to Alan's words, he hit the beer bottle. The key was handed to the other party. So it disappeared, and this man who claims to be Alan, go to the police to get information. He is Sykes himself. 9 months ago, Sykes went to the forest alone, said to appreciate the scene of the murder of Alan, the night of the meteor shower, but then he disappeared. A week passed. The missing Sykes suddenly appeared in the town, also named Alan. The old black immediately with the police, find Alan's accommodation. They walked into the room. There was a strange smell in it. There are animal corpses in the fridge, but the strangest thing is, still a black sphere in the corner. He is full of hair, sent a really strange sound. A meteor slipped through the calm night sky. He lit a fire, towards a certain exit. A man who came to watch the meteor shower, take him home. But what is this meteor? It's a scattered car, a strange sphere that has a long hair. His arrival changed the quiet town. When the police chief came to Alan's house, they found the identity of the dead Doherty. This is Alan. Became a suspect in the murder of the other party. Alan is going to the mine to arrest Alan. Take away the black sphere on the side. When I came to the mine, Alan suddenly appeared. In a rage, he picked up the stone. The police car hit him, and took the black sphere, turned around and rushed into the mine. Jumped off the elevator. The old black followed his step into the mine. When they were watching the elevator, the bottom of the hole, a huge gust of air. It was a big blast. This is the tragedy that started the story. After the explosion, the old black told his friend Carl. He suspects that this explosion, it's very likely that Alan, it was the black sphere that was thrown out, but he can't figure it out. How did Alan know that the black sphere was in his car? And as a fugitive, Alan ran to the forest far away. But why did he choose the mine, and made the explosion? Let himself die with so many workers. So to solve the mystery, Carl and the old black, get off the car and go to the parking lot. ready to take a look at the situation. On the way, Carl told his friend, Old Black, he has gastritis, only less than 6 months of life left to live. Although the Old Black said, endless evening, but he looks very good. Carl is already lifeless, just want to be at the end of his life. Do more meaningful things, say it. They came to the warehouse door. This is the Old Black, the site where Carl built for temporary construction, although the equipment is not perfect, but for Carl who has a great memory, everything is just right. Then they came to the parking lot, checked the body. Only Alan's part, make the Old Black feel confused. After that, Carl let the Old Black go back to rest. He can handle everything. The incident immediately began. Carl put on his equipment, opened the recorder. The photos of the explosion scene, the body above the crowd. It is most likely to have an explosion, so Carl chose to start with this body called Miller. Carl pulled Miller onto the autopsy table. After the residual hair and tissue, nail and nail status check, he determined that the victim must have suffered a great pain before his death. Then Carl took the body apart. After a checkup, it was determined that Miller was dead from suffocation and cerebral palsy. This is unfortunate for the victim's family. Because of the accident, they can be compensated. Just when Carl was about to do the next body check, he suddenly stopped moving his hands. A farting sound came from his neck. Run, get out. Now the sound in my head is warning Carl. The crisis is coming. In the parking lot, a body hand suddenly moved. With a huge force, he suddenly fell to the ground. In a very twisted position, he slowly pushed the door towards the autopsy room, picked up a handgun that fell to the ground, pinched in the mouth. Then the victim reached out his hand. The existence that looks like a living dead in front of his eyes. It's the escape of Alan. Before this strange scene happened, Carl just from 2 people found an unusual place on the body of the victim. The victim Jack and Brady, it's the 2 people who are closest to Alan on the scene of the crime, and the bodies of these 2 people have a common point. There are round windows deep in the chest, and the autopsy showed there's no blood in the 2's organs, and the body in the forest before. Carl had a crazy guess. Well, the blood in the 2's organs, it's all in Alan's abdomen. Just when he was about to unseal Alan's body, the first scene happened. Alan, who has come back to life, told Carl. He's a traveler from outer space. It's through the sacrifice. He took the body of Sykes. Their bodies are very small and look strange. You only need a little oxygen to survive. This is also the reason why he can still appear in front of Carl, and that black ball is their ship. Once identity is exposed, the ship must be destroyed. This is when Alan set off the mine accident. Alan wants to change a body shape again. Said he walked into Carl gradually. Smell the smell of each other. It smells like the canine. It is delicious, saying the corner of the mouth. Then Carl lost consciousness, awakened again. He was paralyzed and only his left hand and head could move. There are many hands in the body of Alan, and he is absorbing bad blood from the body to replenish his physical strength. His condition is much better than just now. The next step is to get out of this hole. In the body of Carl, Alan said that their extraterrestrial beings are far beyond human beings. In order to use the human body more easily, he used his intuition system and the evolution to let Carl's brain and left hand wake up. It's because of the transition process. It needs the intuition to participate. Carl heard this and scolded the other party as a parasite. All they did was because of the extreme human. Alan was shocked for a moment, but he immediately changed the topic and stimulated Carl. He said that his captain friend would arrive in a while, and it would be their first meal after the body fusion, and described the texture of the human body in detail. Say, Alan has already exposed his body. He took his prototype out of his body. That monster that is like Minik Suru is stuck. He turned to Carl's body. Alan did not forget to cut Carl's abdomen so that he could drill it in, but when he completely broke out of his body, the original Sarkozy did not hesitate to give Carl the surgical knife, and left a drop of anger. It turns out that he understands everything Alan does in his body. The last action is also to hope that Carl can find a way to kill this alien. He lost all his senses now. It was the most vulnerable time. Carl took the surgical knife. He tried to stab the alien. Unfortunately, the distance is a little far, so he changed his mind, not just survive, but to trap it forever. Carl was not afraid of death, so he made up his mind. Then he cut his big artery with the surgical knife, and leave a hint on the chest. Then he stabbed his ear with a knife, and stabbed it with a very painful stab. Then he stabbed his eyes. Carl completely cut off his sensory nerve. When Alan entered Carl's body, he found a black area around him. At this time, Carl communicated with his 8th nerve. Alan is no longer the superior alien life. At this moment, he was trapped in the suffering created by Carl. Until life comes to an end, Alan is in a panic inside his body, but it has no power to change. Who made him despise humans? The time is up. The old black police officer appeared in the parking lot. He found Carl's broken body and saw the 2 lines of the big paper. When the bullet was slowly fired, he was hit by an anti-aircraft gun. All the plans of aliens will be publicized. The story ends here. The action of Dr. Carl makes me want to call out. The praise of humanity is the praise of courage. This is the first time human beings are in the confrontation with alien forces. No defeat.